What's up, guys? Welcome to our Premier League 2023-24 predictions. My name's Jack, aka GeoJackHD, and joining me is Aaron, who you'll know from other videos and streams across YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. This is going to be a little show to kick off things. We're also going to be bringing out a Championship prediction video as well in similar fashion, similar pattern. Whatever one you see first, then you know there'll be another one up there. We're going to try and do our best to keep this a regular thing during the season. So after each match week, we're going to sit down, talk about what's happened, what's went well, what's not went so well, and I don't know about you, but we'll probably try and mix both Premier League and EFL into one big video, so we don't have got to do that separately. So it's like a podcast, just us two chatting a load of crap about football all night. So let's get on with it. So Premier League 2023-24 season. You got high hopes about it?
I've got very high hopes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sweet. So obviously the season kicks off with Burnley versus Manchester City.
Yeah.
In my opinion, when I saw that fixture get released as the first fixture, like the penultimate moment of the season at the beginning, I thought it was a bit anticlimactic because Burnley versus Man City. I would have loved to see what else we're seeing in the match. You got Chelsea versus Liverpool coming up. You got Man U versus Wolves.
Yeah.
But that's not me writing Burnley out. We'll see that later on the predictions, whatever we come up with. We've both got our own predictions, and then later in this video we are going to be coming up with our work together prediction, and obviously at the end of the video we'll let you guys comment and we'll see what you agree with and disagree with. Newly promoted Sheffield United coming up against Crystal Palace at home. Opinions?
They could have had a lot tougher games, to be fair. That is a decent game to start with for Sheffield United, especially as many would write them off this season.
Definitely, they performed really well in the Championship. They showed that they've got what it takes. A few different teams coming up from the Championship into the Premier League this year, so it's going to mix a little thing up. It's a very, very different Premier League table from what we have seen over the last couple of years, or quite a lot of things up. But I've just noticed. I'll edit that into the screen so you guys can see what I've just seen, because I'm reading through my notes on the computer and I've seen something what's not Premier League related. Chelsea-Liverpool.
Great game to kick the season off. One of the best.
We've seen Chelsea-Liverpool have some really fierce counters over the years. Over the last decade, numerous Community Shields. The last Community Shield I watched of that was when Liverpool smacked Chelsea. I was absolutely tiny for that, but that will always stick in my head because I was made to wear a Chelsea shirt for that.
And Liverpool not starting with a newly promoted team for once.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you guys, if you're football fans, you'll know this team isn't in the Premier League this year, and with all good old Liverpool fashion, they always face us on the first day of the season, or, as you said, a newly promoted side. So that is interesting. I honestly think Chelsea might shock us. I think Chelsea might pick up the ball and try their best. It's first day of the season. No one knows what's going to happen.
No.
There's already been matches in the Championship that have shocked me.
Yeah,
where I walked in and I was like, that's going to happen, and none of it happened. So Chelsea-Liverpool, another good one. Obviously Manchester United versus Wolves, Old Trafford, day one of the season. Great. You're a Man U fan, so let's hear about it.
Great way for Erik ten Hag to kick off his season with his new team. He's got his ball-playing keeper. He's got his new 70 million striker. How good he is, we're yet to see, but Erik ten Hag ball in full flow, starting with Wolves.
Brilliant. I honestly think there's nothing but 3 points there for Man United.
Easily.
I think that's a really good opportunity to get the ball rolling.
Get the ground rolling.
Hopefully it will be a snowball effect where you get one win and you carry on going. Yeah. You guys will see in just a few minutes what our predictions are, and where I've personally, as a neutral, put Manchester United in the league, and also where I've put Wolves, as well as other teams. But let's head to the elephant in the room. Brighton versus Luton, a team that stunned everyone last season. Obviously the season before they just missed out on it, and obviously last season they got it. And Well deserved. Well deserved. Unfortunately, they're not having match day 1 at Kenilworth Road.
No.
So smallest Premier League stadium arguably ever.
Yeah.
Although they've had revamps, they've been doing a lot of work over the season, but it'll be interesting to see what they've done.
Yeah.
But what's your opinions? Obviously, Brighton, a very strong team, definitely
Very
grown
strong.
over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Are they going to be fighting up that top end of the table, do you think?
Brighton will be fighting towards top 7, definitely. This is one of the toughest fixtures that Luton could have got, to be honest with you. Everyone's putting them dead last, and they're going to put up a good fight, but I can't see them doing much more than...
As a Norwich fan,
20th.
As a Norwich fan, I have to ask you when you've ended on that, will they beat 13 points? Will they beat Norwich's dreaded number?
Do you know what? Part of me doesn't think they will.
No?
I think they'll get 2 wins at best.
Okay, so there's a question I
get
haven't got on
smacked.
here. There's a question I haven't included on this, but I'm actually really tempted. If they beat someone
Yeah.
in this season, which is going to be a typical Crystal Palace-esque sort of giant killer match day, who do you think it would be?
Spurs.
Do you think that
I
think they'll do
I
it
think Luton will take
Yeah.
down Spurs
away or at Kenilworth Road?
away.
Away at the Tottenham Hotspur
They'll
Stadium.
take down Spurs away, yeah.
Luton, a small club, very small club, coming up the ranks and beating Tottenham,
Yeah.
who arguably are going through a lot of changes themselves at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see. At the time of recording this, we have 4 days until the end. 4 days until the season starts. Friday night, Saturday.
Friday night, yeah. So
Yeah.
three
So
days.
obviously that's Burnley, Man City kicking things off. I believe that'll probably be an 8 p.m. kickoff, won't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
They tend to keep that at the same time. Everything. A few more questions before we move on to the next part. Chelsea versus Chelsea coming up surprisingly high in the season this year.
No.
No, you
Not
haven't
for
got them
me,
high. No, okay.
No.
We may actually have different opinions on that then. So that'll be interesting to talk about later in the video when we're over at the computer
Definitely.
doing some predictions. Manchester Derby battle for the top spot. Final week or final couple of weeks. Christmas is gone. It's coming up to the end of the season. Say you've got 3-4 games left. Is it going to be both Manchester clubs fighting for that peak of the summer?
I think it could be Arsenal, Manchester. I
Man
think
U?
City are going to fall off.
You think City are going to collapse, yeah? Okay, that brings me on to the next question really well. Haaland, top or flop?
I have thought about this as well. I believe he is going to score goals. He will get his goals, but he's going to be nowhere near the levels that he was last season.
Agreed.
Teams know what he's like now, and he's going to be stopped.
I
He's been
think
pocketed a few times.
I think the Viking has invaded the league.
Yeah.
He's come in, and the rest of the league has been able to now research, learn about his actions,
Yeah.
and they've built their reinforcements. They're going to be focusing on him.
Definitely.
Like we saw with England this morning, a certain player, who I won't name
Yeah.
due to the incidents that occurred during the match, but against Nigeria, she was pocketed. She just couldn't get past anyone.
She was marked out of the game.
She was
Frustrations come over her.
Yeah, exactly. The stress in the moment got over her, and we all saw what happened. And you guys, you'll know by the time this is up what's happened. Even if you're not an England fan or a women's football fan, that'll be in sports headlines for a while.
Oh yeah.
Considering that player is now going to miss the rest of the tournament. So, and arguably, it's a sad thing because she was arguably one of our best players, if not our best player. Right, so before we move on, a few quick fire questions. I'm going to take the laptop so you can't read them and think of answers.
Right.
There's only a few, there's only like 5, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions, okay? So,
G Fuel kids.
there you go. Plug number 1. Right, okay, so are you ready? Quick fire questions.
Go on then.
First thing that comes up to your head. Who will finish first?
Manchester United.
Who will score the most goals? Oh,
I've got to think about that.
that's a good one, isn't it?
That will be Saka.
Bukayo Saka for Arsenal. Okay, nice. Other than Manchester United, who would you want to see win in the Premier League? This one's Arsenal. Okay, so you're going with a lot of Arsenal stats this season. You still think they're gonna stay up there, fight for that top spot. Red or blue?
My team is Manchester United, but my favourite colour is blue.
There we go. That's why I picked that question. Okay, Wayne Rooney or David Beckham?
Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney. Okay, Premier League or Champions League? Who, if you're winning it, which one?
Champions League.
Nice. I would have went for the same as well. You can win the Premier League whenever you want,
Yeah,
but you're not always
13
going to get there. He's coming for you, Man City. Clean sheet or a 9-goal battle?
9-goal battle.
9-goal battle. It's got to be a 9-goal battle. Clean sheet could
Definitely.
be a 1-goal match. It could be like the 89th minute winner or something.
Definitely.
But yeah, that's all the clean sheets. Guys, we're going to head over to computer now to get our predictions. If you're enjoying it so far, hit that like button, smash the subscribe, turn on the bell to get notifications when we upload every single week. But before we move on, here's a word from G Fuel.
G Fuel is a sugar-free performance energy drink that provides game-changing energy. All G Fuel products are sugar-free, including their carbonated energy cans, which I definitely recommend trying. No matter what you choose from G Fuel, you can rest easy knowing you will get that performance boost without the crash. Use code GeojackHD at checkout today to save on your order. And also remember to tag me across social media if you use code GeojackHD so that I can thank you personally for you showing your support. Visit gfuel.com today and change the way you get your energy.
Right, guys, here we are. We are set up all at the computer, ready for our predictions. We've got our analytics guy over here, okay, Aaron, who he's got, hold up your paper, what you've come in with into the studio. He's got all the notes from last season, so supercomputer, goals scored, and what else have you got there? You've got
This one's a supercomputer.
supercomputer.
This one's like where they finished last season. Goals against, goals for, key ins and outs. Same one for the championship. So I could be asked for the transfers for that.
Yeah.
And then the supercomputer predictions.
Nice. That's the effort we're going into here, guys. So massive appreciation for Aaron doing this. But yeah, we're going to head on straight into our predictions. You may have got a gist of what we thought from over here. I'm just going to get my Prem predictions up here just so we can go off of a little bit of a twist. That's championship. There we go. So yeah, on the screen as you see, guys, it's a casual tier maker click and drop. So you can literally put whatever teams you want in here. I'll let you tell me where you want certain teams. If we both take turns in it, we'll disagree on things. I'm gonna try and reflect off this. A few of them since I've saved that. What you can see, you guys can't see the one I've saved previously. It was about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, during pre-season. Yeah. But we're gonna get onto it and we'll talk about it as we go along. Obviously, these are going to be made into like little shows / podcasts. So we may talk about some teams in a little bit more detail than others. But if it does drag on a little bit, feel free to skip ahead from wherever you want to go. At the end of the day, I don't expect you to sit through every single thing we talk about, especially if you're a Liverpool fan and we're sitting there talking about Man U or Everton or something like that. Because there are a few things I want to say about Everton and Liverpool, in fact. Right, so let's get stuck straight into it. We're going to be starting with bottom first, aiming up to the top, so we'll end the prediction with the champions. But yeah, 20th place, right at the bottom. Who's it going to be?
If you're not saying Luton, what's wrong with you?
Exactly. As harsh as it sounds.
Brilliant team, worked hard to get here, worked so hard, but I don't think they've got enough for the Premier League.
Nope, so I believe, as you can see on my prediction as well, 20th place is going to be Luton Town. Yeah. As you say, I share the same opinion. Great team, really put up a fight. I believe they'll try. They'll definitely try. But I don't think they've got the right resources or people on that pitch to stay up.
No.
And it'll be unfortunate. I think they'll become one of those teams who compete with the top of the Championship from now on for the next 5 years. Definitely. Yeah, 20th place. Heading into 19th. Who we got?
Sheffield United for me.
Nice, so we weren't too far off.
No.
I put Nottingham Forest. Reasons for Sheffield?
Again, they're a good championship side. They worked hard to get here, but for me, there's been no key ins and outs, and the window's not over yet. But if you want to stay in that Premier League, you need some key transfers.
Definitely has been slow.
To keep in there.
Definitely has been slow. And on my side, I chose Nottingham Forest. We saw what they did when they come up.
Yeah.
They pretty much splashed the cash and went all out on pretty much a whole new team. And I don't think it worked. There was a lot of cracks in the system. It seemed like they were upside down many parts in the season, in the 22-23 season. We've seen teams do that in the past. They've just hung on, and then they've crashed. But it could go either way. They could really surprise us.
Yeah.
But my bottom three was Luton, Sheffield United, Nottingham Forest. So in aspect, we both agree on the bottom three in a way. Apart from Nottingham Forest, I have a feeling.
Yeah,
I have a feeling.
I'd put Nottingham Forest 17th.
You'd say they're just going to clack it.
I think Wolves are going to go down.
Really? Okay, nice. Not far off then. But I think what we'll do is we'll put your predictions up after we discussed everything. So we're saying Sheffield?
Yep.
Okay, so 18th.
Now, for me,
this is who's going to cling in and out of the relegation zone throughout the season, sort of thing.
Wolves have lost many key men of their team. We saw last season they struggled towards the start. They slowly climbed up towards the end of the season to get a comfortable 13th finish, but they've lost centre-back Connor Cody, midfield maestro Ruben Neves, who was highly sought after for many teams in that centre midfield position, and they've also lost their key striker, Raul Jimenez.
Exactly, that's who I was waiting for you to say, Raul Jimenez. Definitely, he's a stunning player. Definitely. Any club's lucky to have him. I don't suppose you've got where he's gone on your thing.
Someone bought him.
Fulham bought him. Wow. Okay, so potentially, this is on a thread.
Yeah.
We could see Fulham spike up, and I've just had a peek at your notes, and it's a very different position to my early prediction. What we've put. So you're going with Wolves on 18th place.
Wolves only managed to score 31 goals last season, and with a key striker and midfielder. Wolves only managed to score 31 goals last season, and with a key striker and a key midfielder gone, that's just going to drop. And with Forest, they scored 38 goals last season, and they've brought in Anthony Elanga from Manchester United, so that extra couple of goals he could add could put them above Wolves. Nice,
and I feel like Old Trafford's going to miss the Anthony Elanga chance, because that was a hell of a chant. Definitely. That was definitely, and he's a great lad. He's a very great lad. So I think he's got a big future at his new club. Right, moving on to 17th. As you were talking a minute ago, my 17th was Fulham. Obviously, there's only one team between where we put Wolves and Fulham, like pretty much for me, Wolves. So we aren't too far off on agreeing with that bottom three. But 17th, typical fight or die. Like, it's literally survival in this position, isn't it? You've seen every single season. This is the team that are in and out and go within 1 point of that person below them.
Yeah.
So who do you think is going to be that lucky club who don't go down? They just clinch survival.
And that's Forest. Forest for me.
You've put Forest.
Forest, okay. 17th.
So my prediction was Fulham, because I don't feel like they've got that click to be able to fight enough against some of the other teams in the league.
They finished 10th last season.
Definitely. But that's where the likes of, we could argue for like Everton.
Yeah.
Because obviously we saw what happened to Everton.
Only just survived in 17th place.
Yeah, exactly. And where have you got Everton at the moment in your prediction, your early prediction?
For me personally, I see Everton Around 10th, 12th.
We've spoke about this, haven't you? You said obviously they'd spike up a little
I
bit.
think Everton are going to spike up a lot this season compared to the last few seasons.
Okay. So who are we putting in? We're putting Forest.
Yeah.
Yep, Forest. So obviously had a lot of players come in, a lot of money splashed, they've wasted a lot of money. You can't even hide that.
Yeah.
Great team of great players. Just I think they were all brought in all together too fast at the wrong moment.
Definitely.
16th.
Brentford for me.
Brentford.
Brentford.
Okay. So a little bit of a difference with Brentford for us because I've put them in the higher mid-table. But not too much of a difference. It's only a few teams. Any reasons, or is it just one of those teams you don't think have what it takes to compete with the other competition in the league this year?
They've brought in a new goalkeeper from the Bundesliga, Flecken, and they've brought in a decent centre-back in Collins, but their loss of their main man, Tony. They've brought in Flecken from the Bundesliga, a very good goalkeeper, and they brought in a decent centre-back in Collins, but their loss of their main man, Tony, is going to drop their goals right off. 58 goals last season for Brentford, 18 of them from Tony, let's say roughly, is a good goal scoring season. Brentford are down to 40 goals. I don't see anyone putting them in for them.
You don't think 40 goals is going to be nowhere near enough, no?
No.
Nice. Okay, right. I think we could agree on that. My next few teams are, on my early prediction, are a bit, could do shit, could flop. I have one team who I think is going to struggle.
Yeah.
And you probably see who it is on here, who we saw really impress European-wide. In obviously it was the Conference League, wasn't it? With them. So on to the next team. I believe it's 15th now. 15th. Yeah. In my 15th, this is where I put Wolves. But ignoring Wolves, I've got Burnley.
For me, 15th is between Bournemouth and Burnley.
Nice. So we were really close. Well, we were really close because my 14th is Burnley. Yeah. So I think we can fit in. What are we going to say? I think Bournemouth have got that presence in the Premier League. I feel like they've got a more solidified presence.
Yeah.
They know where the goal is. That's coming from a Norwich fan, and Norwich have had a very nice history against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
But we're agreed on it's Bournemouth and Burnley, yeah? So who do you say is going to lower out? Who's going to get
Burnley lower, in my opinion.
Okay. And then we might as well put 14th in there.
14th.
Because we are pretty much solidly agreed on that one, actually. 15th and 14th. They might be the only teams in this whole prediction that we've actually got in the exact places. So that's actually really interesting.
Bournemouth were 15th last season. They scored 37 goals, which isn't really good enough to stay up, but it kept them up, and they conceded 71 goals. They've not made any key defensive acquisitions just yet, but in their attack, they have added Justin Kluivert.
Okay, nice. So
which is a good young winger to come in and potentially back.
So I haven't obviously looked into this one. You have a lot more knowledge with the Premier League than me. Obviously, I'm a Championship boy. But Bournemouth not bringing in have they brought? You say they haven't brought any key defensive signs in. Does that mean they've brought in defensive players, or have they not?
I believe so, but I'm not too deep into that. I've just put key players on here.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Even if they have, we're still agreed that they're going to be in that section of the table.
Definitely.
We're now up to, I think that's 12th. No, we've got 13th to do, haven't we? That is, 14th. This is where it starts getting tricky because you're heading up the table. You get into that bit where people are itching the edge of the 10th spot. They're flipping because if it's anything like last year, that mid chunk of the table can just flip like that.
Definitely.
It can literally flip. It's the same in other leagues all around the world, even other English divisions. this is the section of the table that can really change just within 1 week.
Yeah.
So 13th place, who are we going with?
I am going to go for Palace.
Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace.
Okay.
Always a comfortable mid-table team. Last season, they finished 11th. 40 goals scored, 49 against. And they brought in Jefferson Lerma, which is a key defensive midfield role to just keep them steady in the league.
Definitely. I think they're not going to... I don't think they're going to struggle.
No.
As in drop. Because we all know Crystal Palace. I think with Crystal Palace, obviously we know them as giant killers because they are the one team who dramatically has a really good result. Not every season, but on record, they have had a really good succession rate against bigger clubs. Another club who always have their fans behind them. Crystal Palace fans, so passionate.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think even with this prediction, there was only one club between my early prediction and your prediction. So I think that's a fair point of putting them there in the 13th place. So yeah, Crystal Palace, they're staying up. I've got no doubt that they won't go there. I could put my hands on the table right now, my hands in the air, and say Crystal Palace are going to stay up in the new season. Now, Palace fans, if you're watching this in a year's time and you've gone down, please feel free to roast me on Twitter or something.
If Crystal Palace go down, I'll wear a Liverpool top.
I think if Crystal Palace go... Right, you guys are going to love this. If Crystal Palace goes down, we will travel down to Crystal Palace and I will buy a Crystal Palace shirt.
Make it a vlog.
We'll shake on it and that'll be a good vlog. So, guys, if Crystal Palace go down, we'll travel down for a match at Crystal Palace because we are wanting to go to matches. So that is a good excuse. I will buy and wear a Crystal Palace shirt. And you never know, you might see me waving a flag or something. But yeah, that'll be pretty cool. Great. 12th place. So higher end of the mid-table. Yep. So this is where I have someone I think isn't going to perform like they did last season. And that's West Ham. I feel like they had a really good succession in Europe. But I feel like I don't want to blame it on the sale of Rice because he's not the only person. There are a great bunch of lads for West Ham.
Yeah.
They play some really good football. And this isn't me saying that I want West Ham or expect them to do bad. This is just if things go wrong, if things head south, where they could end up. But this is also where I'm saying, like the point earlier, there could be 1 point between them and 6th.
Yeah.
It could happen. And that's why it gets so hard to predict this end of the table. So I'm sticking with my hand down and I'm saying West Ham still.
No, I fully agree. West Ham.
You're
West
agreeing
Ham
with West Ham as well.
West Ham
okay,
12.
I was expecting you to like jump up and be like, no. But okay, 12. West Ham 12. Obviously,
lost key man, captain Declan Rice, not replaced him yet. They have 100 million to play with, and currently at the time of recording, they have had 40 million bid for Harry Maguire. Could improve their defensive slightly. May not.
Maybe. As you call him, an upgraded Hanley.
Yeah.
So Grant Hanley on the orange. We haven't got Grant Hanley at the moment, but that comes in the championship video. So, yeah, if you're watching this and it's later in the week or something, or the season's already finished, head over and check the championship video out. 11th place.
Everton.
You're going with Everton?
Everton. They're not getting any higher than 11th, but they are having a massive jump from last season where they just saved themselves from relegation twice in a row.
You've seen on my early prediction, you've seen very well. I've put them in a similar position as last season where they've just survived. But it's a balance of two sides, isn't it? I want to reference so many championship things because obviously match day 1's already finished. We're recording this just the day after match day 1's finished in the championship. So we know what's happened, but obviously I want to keep the championship stuff for the championship video. But yeah, Everton, they are they're not a bad side.
They have some good players.
It's just how they've been used, and obviously the shuffle of their managers. They didn't have the crowd behind them. Let's be honest.
No.
For the last 2 years, they haven't had the crowd behind them, and it's a shame because I always wanted. Growing up, that was a club I always wanted to go see away because their fans were always behind them. But similar to other situations at other clubs, stuff like that quick can just make the fans turn off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're not gonna. If you think about it in all aspects, I don't think they're going to struggle as much as they did.
They've brought in Dan Juma from Villarreal.
Oh, okay,
Very good forward player, and Ashley Young, very experienced Premier League winner, played in multiple clubs, captain, very good leader with lots of experience.
Where did Ashley Young come from? Do you know, or just
he?
Not off by heart.
I don't know where he come through the academy, but we got him from Villa when he was quite young. Then he played for us, and then
he went elsewhere.
Then where did he go? Yeah, then he went elsewhere.
Yeah, he just went elsewhere. Anjuma, bloody good guy. Someone I've always, and I know you yourself have rated him highly as well.
Definitely, he will get some goals and push them up the table.
Nice, that's brilliant. But yeah, moving on to 10th place. Yeah, 10th.
10th.
Right. So the top 10. This is where it gets interesting. This is where the action happens. If you're a Premier League fan or even just a neutral, you're always watching that top 10. Yeah. We had a few laughs last season. Chelsea and Liverpool both dropping out of the top 10. As a Man U fan, you bloody loved that. I don't even have to ask you that. But I don't see either of those two teams, what I've just mentioned, being outside the top 10 at all.
No,
I think
this year.
I think there's a lot worse in this Premier League this year than both Chelsea and Liverpool. And I do think both of those sides would have learnt from their mistakes. Will make changes.
Yep.
Some not so dramatic and some very dramatic. But 10th place.
10th for me is going to be the same 10th as last season, Fulham.
You go for Fulham, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with that because my 10th was Brentford. But with a little more discussion, we've come to the decision they're going to be in 16th.
Yeah.
Never know. We could be really wrong. This is the beauty of the sport. You never know. And that's something what I'll get along with. I'll strongly talk about in the Championship video because Championship video will be full of just not arguments, but you just can't tell.
No.
And that's where you get with the top 10 with 10th place. Would you say what position would you say is the hardest in the league? Like top 10? I'd say 10th place. Staying in the top 10.
7th to 10th.
You think? So between those
7th
three.
to 10th is the hardest to call in the league.
But yeah, I think Fulham will agree on Fulham. And we'll move on to 9th place.
9th.
I'm gonna.
This is tough. This is getting tough.
This is where I said Villa. But I'm now arguing because my early prediction, I put Villa in 10th. No, 9th. I put Villa in 9th and then Brighton in 8th.
Yeah, Villa. I think it'd be Villa.
You want to go with Villa? So we're agreeing on that.
Brighton will finish above Aston Villa. 7th place finish for Aston Villa last year.
So 8th place. Oh, sorry. Carry on if you've got some points.
Very average season for Villa. 51 goals scored, 46 conceded. Very medium sort of levels, but good enough to obviously get them to 7th. They've brought in Pau Torres from Villarreal, a key centre-back that Manchester United was after last season. He will improve their defence. And they've brought in Moussa Diaby for attack.
Wow.
So both defence and attack getting strengthened by Villa, who are playing very good football, but 9th best. I've got to give it.
Yeah. Moving on to 8th. This is where I think it's interesting because in my 8th place, I've presumably put Brighton in 9th. I feel like Aston Villa and Brighton are almost not equal level teams, but I feel like Brighton are there. The thing is, I think they are going to fight for European football again. Just could be late in the season, but I think they will miss out on it.
Yeah,
So
because they're playing European football this season. That might be a bit Premier League and Cups
It's a
and
lot of
European
games.
football. Brighton's not used to that. I think that's going to catch up to them.
You've got Premier League.
Yeah.
You've got a European trophy
European
match.
trophy.
You've got FA Cup,
And
Carabao Cup. That's 4 times the fixtures than they would usually have just being a normal bog standard team.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to cope? This is where my argument is for putting them in this position.
I think they're still going to do quite well. They will finish 8th, but they've had some good acquisitions themselves. Again, they've lost Sanchez, the goalie. I know they keep rotating their goalkeepers, but Sanchez was pretty decent in them for goal. But they have brought in Juve, who is a centre mid for Dortmund, who's quite a solid out and out.
Heard good things about him.
And they've got João Pedro up front.
And again, absolutely incredible player. And obviously, you would have seen João Pedro, one of my forwards for my fantasy team this year. Talking about fantasy team, guys, myself and Aaron have started our own fantasy team, Premier League fantasy team league. You can join it. I'll put the link in the description below this video. So if you are watching right now, feel free to join. It'll be interesting to see what people choose in their teams.
Yeah.
My team's very different to yours. Also, I've got a load of people I know outside in my life who have picked teams, and they're so different. So building a league together, guys, Fantasy Premier League. Check the link in the description to join that. Moving on to 7th. So,
Chelsea.
Europa Conference League. You're literally out there. Straight away, Chelsea. This is where me and you battle off each other a bit. Because I've put Newcastle.
Newcastle are going to have another fantastic season for me.
Yeah.
Chelsea, I would love and I would happily battle to put them lower. I don't think they're getting any higher than 7th. 7th will be a good season for them. We saw the shambles they had last season. They scored only 38 goals for Chelsea. That is horrendous. They did bring in Nkunku. He will be a good acquisition.
Nkunku is historically a stunning player. A real good player.
Very good. But they've lost half of their good players. They've lost Havertz. They've lost Mount. They've lost Aubameyang. They've lost Pulisic. They've lost Kovacic. They've lost Kante, the midfield maestro. They've lost a lot of big players.
A lot of big names, and names, if you are football fans watching, they are all names that you probably are aware of. They're players, they're names that we've grown up knowing in the Premier League and other European leagues. But you're going with Chelsea, yeah?
Yeah.
Now you've just read that list out, I think I'm in agreement. Now you've read that list of departures out, because that is a solid form of players that they've lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've brought in Nkunku. He's not going to replace like 6 people.
No,
he's definitely not. It'll be nice to see Chelsea further up the table, but I think for the sake of this prediction, I feel it is safe putting them in 7th place. So they're still going to get European football, and I feel like it's a huge success for anyone, even in 7th place, getting European football. Even if it is the Conference League. West Ham got it last year.
Yep.
West Ham got it, and they won it. They got a European trophy.
Exactly. At the end of the day.
It is, and I did my commentary on that, and it was a good game. It was a very good game. Moving up to Europa League, 5th place and 6th place. So 6th place, just grabbing themselves a bit of the Orange Cup, a bit of the Europa League. Yep. Who's your 6th place?
We both agree on 6th place, Spurs.
Yeah, 100%. I think Spurs are going to do really well.
At the moment, Kane's still maybe not leaving.
News today as well. Spurs rejected that 100 plus million euros for Harry Kane from Bayern Munich. Yeah. I partially think that'd be because they've seen how other players have been over there, like handled over there with Munich. I'm not going to name anyone, but we probably know from previous transfers from Premier League to Munich or even Bundesliga at all how they have unfolded. So we both agree on this. 6th place, Tottenham Hotspur getting European football.
Brought in a new goalkeeper. No idea how to say his name. Vicro, something like that. Decent goalkeeper to replace Luis. James Maddison, as you know all about, quality attacking midfielder for Spurs.
Definitely don't get my tears rolling. James Maddison, quality player. Never expected to see him at a team like Spurs. Never expected it, but I think it's perfect for Spurs. I've seen in person how he plays. I've obviously history of matches I've been to. He's a great player. He's a very, very big fan motivator. He motivates the fans to make some noise. And Tottenham have a crowd capacity and a stadium very, very capable of making the noise and bringing the atmosphere behind the club. And I think that'll be a key point of pushing Tottenham this year.
Nice.
Whether Harry Kane stays or leaves, we don't know. The window's still got time. Personally, I feel like we will see him leave. But if he stays, 100% European football.
Definitely.
100% football. Fifth place, the second English team in the Europa League.
For me, this is a battle between Liverpool and Newcastle.
And, you know, I put Newcastle in Conference League, so I'm going to be saying Newcastle on this one. Brilliant team since the takeover. Eddie Howe, someone I was very cautious over when Norwich were without a manager. And you had a lot of faith in him. You were like, he's the good guy. He's the one you want.
Yeah.
And obviously we got someone else. And Eddie Howe, yes, he's gone into a club where they've literally handed him the reins with a shit ton of money. But I feel like Newcastle are going to stun.
They've lost key winger Alan St-Maximin to a Saudi team this year. They did bring in Harvey Barnes from Leicester. Similar-ish sort of player. Not as visually stylish as St-Maximin, but Barnes is very good at getting the job done. And defensive midfield, Sandro Tonali. He's going to do a solid job for Newcastle.
Tonali's a beautiful player. Really good on the feet, fast. And he's always got his head down. He's always on that ball and he's charging through everyone with that.
Very hard to break Newcastle down last season, and this is going to make it even harder.
Definitely. It's just a shame they don't make their their opponents walk to the away section of the stadium because that is a trek. Obviously, I don't think you've ever been to St James's Park, have you?
No.
But yeah, definitely. You're up in the clouds, shall we say, when you're an away fan there. But you never know. You never know. They could be one of those teams that flop. Don't see it happening at all. I agree with you. They're getting European football, whether we like it or not. And that brings us down to the top four. As you guys have probably figured on the screen right now, you got Arsenal, Manchester City, Liverpool, and Manchester United. Arguably the top four on the league any year running at the moment.
Definitely.
This is really hard to call.
But fourth, I think we both agree, has to be Liverpool.
We do. We both agree with Liverpool. We saw them crash a little bit last season. They didn't pick it up until the end.
No.
We didn't see them pick it up until the very, very fine ends of the season.
Van Disney's lost his aura. Their midfield was aging, was getting horrendous. They brought in McAllister and Szoboszlai. McAllister is a good addition to the midfield. Szoboszlai, unproven in the Premier League, could be good, but they have lost key figure in Henderson and Firmino.
Definitely. And another point you have to point out, this is one of the first clubs in recent years, recent teams, what Jurgen Klopp has managed at, where he's actually surpassed 7 years.
Yeah, 8th year.
He's going into his 8th year. He's written off the curse.
Yeah.
And we may as well call it a curse because he never lasted more than 7 years at one club. But he's got very good connections. His coaching staff are, even if we hate to say it, some of the best.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a very good team. If they need to work on something, they're going to work on something. And over this pre-season, out before the pre-season matches started, since the end of last season, I think they would have been working harder than ever to come into this new season. I don't think it's going to be enough to win the season. No. I think they'll bounce in the top three. Or four, sorry. I think the top four will bounce on each other.
Yeah,
it'll constantly rotate, and there'll be teams you could be a Liverpool fan in Champions Point at first place for like half a season and then just fall down and then bounce
Like
back up,
Arsenal
then
like
fall down.
season.
Exactly. Arsenal slipped right at the end.
Yep.
Just when it looked like it was all going to be a miracle for Arsenal. And then they did slip. But fourth place, Champions League football. There's
Liverpool.
no denying that. Liverpool are very worthy of getting to the final of the Champions League.
They'll always score a goal. Always.
Definitely. Moving up to third. I don't know if we agree with this.
No, but this is the toughest. But hands down, definitely the top three.
We've agreed who's in the top three,
Yeah.
but it's in the order that
Yeah.
would put them. I've got reasons why I've aimed it at the top three as I have, and you keep looking over at it because it's really annoying you. But I've put Arsenal in third place. You're having to think about this one.
Any three of these teams can win. Let's have a look at
This is something like there'll be Arsenal, Man City, Man U, Liverpool, any team, any fans watching this who support a Premier League side. This isn't us saying either of these teams are going to be shit.
No,
this isn't us.
Not.
This isn't us saying any of these teams are going to finish in these positions or struggle or they're going to win, they're going to lose, they're going to get relegated because it's Premier League, it's football, it's the beauty of the sport. You never know what's going to happen. This is just what we think realistically is going to happen. So we don't mean anything by these positions. But I'm sticking with Arsenal because I think it will be a penultimate battle between Man City and Man United. That's why I brought that quickfire question up earlier in the pre-show section. But I want to hear what you've got to say.
It's tough. Man United by 4 scored the least goals out of these 3 clubs last season.
Am I reading that correctly? Only 58 goals compared to 88 and 99?
Definitely, yeah.
Wow. That is
It's
a big
tough.
difference. So, do you want to talk about transfers?
The window is not over yet, so Man United could still get a Harry Kane if he pushes through the move. If we get a Harry Kane or a top striker, it's different. But for now, we've got Højlund, 9 goals last season, 70 million, 19-year-old kid, I believe. He's the man leading the line.
Some people calling him the future Haaland, the next Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
I think that's very big boots to fill. But Man United clearly have faith in him if they're paying that much money for him. I never heard of him a month ago, which is interesting. Obviously, he moved from the MLS, am I correct?
Nope.
Where was he come
Atlanta.
from? Oh, okay, nice. So, yeah, okay.
Unless...
That's why I'm thinking Atalanta.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm getting mixed up there.
Unless we get another forward, Man United third.
You go Man United third.
Højlund's going to come in with a few goals. We've got a ball-playing goalkeeper now, Nana. He's been chipped a few times in pre-season, though, because people know how much he loves to come off his line. More than once he's been chipped. Mason Mount, yet to impress, but it is only pre-season. But that's... Unless we sign someone else, we can't get higher than third.
No?
No.
Okay, that's debate, and this is obviously, guys, remember the window is still open. There is like the space of people like Harry Kane moving. Where he goes, we don't know. But if it was the situation, because Man U want him, there's no secret. It's very, very public and very clear that Manchester United want Harry Kane.
And I think Kane would rather stay in the league to break that record. I don't see why he'd want to go to Germany.
Obviously, they've rejected the bid of 100+ million euros for Harry Kane for Bayern Munich.
Yep.
That might tickle Manchester United into putting another bid in.
But I did read somewhere about if he's not sold by the first game, he's not being sold at all, which
So
is
he's got
in a few days.
2-3 days to get sold.
But I think
so.
pressure will be on. I think he will get sold.
You think? Right. Okay. So, second place. I think we're going with the same.
No.
Are we not?
We disagree here.
Wow. Okay.
I do not. Everyone saying it's City's league to lose. I can't see him doing it 4 times in a row. No one's ever done it 4 times in a row. And whereas City are very, very capable of doing that, I don't think they will. Their key man last season, Haaland, everyone's going to know what he's all about this season is going to be more marked, better tactics against Haaland. Now they know how to play against him. They brought in Kovacic for the midfield, but they've lost Gundogan and Mahrez. We saw him
extremely good. We saw what Gundogan did. We saw what he did. Fastest goal, bang, just like that. And that was stunning.
And we've just seen City lose to Arsenal in the Community Shield, where Arsenal were dominating in the first half. Were unfortunate to concede first, but did get that goal in the end.
Man City fans, just to translate what we mean, for the Manchester City fans, if you're struggling to understand what Aaron's talking about, he's talking about what you guys call the glorified shield, the glorified pre-season friendly shield. So we all know you'd want to win that, but you're saying Man City second.
And Arsenal, we saw they was on top for the pretty much majority of last season. They bottled it at the end. They've now brought in Rice. We both have seen Rice in person. We know how good he is. He's going to be instrumental in that midfield. Perfect replace for Xhaka. They've brought in Havertz, great attacking midfielder or centre forward if they need be, and Timber in the defence. I don't see City doing it again, and I think Arsenal have improved very much, and they could be champions.
Yeah. Okay. So that is what we're looking at in our final Premier League 2023-24.
If Man United pull off a Harry Kane, then my bias is saying Man United win the league. Yeah.
I think it goes to that.
Yeah.
If Man United win, if Man U get them, but where do we put them? There.
The other way around. Yeah.
There we go. So we are looking at. It's so hard to call this year.
So hard.
It's such a different season. We've had three completely different teams come up this season.
Yeah.
Which we haven't seen for a long time.
First time that 3 Premier League teams were relegated last season, and all 3 Championship sides stayed up.
It's mad. So arguably we've got 6 sides in the season.
Yeah.
That wouldn't normally be there. That's like the lower end of the table.
Yeah.
So.
And we've got teams that are usually mid-table that have improved so much. You got big teams that are dropping off and building themselves up again. It's going to be so hard.
So we don't drag on too much longer. European football, obviously, it's what they all aim for. If those 3 teams, both Manchester clubs and Liverpool, are in the Champions League, out of those 3, it's really hard. Who do you see winning the Champions League out of those 3 teams we've chose today?
What if they go into the Champions League next season?
Yes. So if they finish in these positions,
and
then they're in the Champions League, who would you say out of those 3 would win? If they win, because we never know who else will get in it.
Yeah. Well, next season is going to be another season of Ten Hag ball and Ten Hag transfers. So
do you think
I'm going to say Man United.
Man U get that Champions League glory
overdue
again.
a Champions League.
Yeah, definitely. I want to say Man U.
Glory days are coming back with Ten Hag.
Oh, 100%. And I think if there's any 3 teams that will impress us this season, it will be those 3 who have put in those 3 Champions League positions. I don't support either of those teams, and you know that very well. But in all respects, they are the 3 teams that would, if anyone else, would get Champions League football. So we'll end on that.
And even if Arsenal win the Premier League, they always bought the Champions League. They've never won it. They never will in our lifetime.
No. But yeah, we'll leave it there.
So our Premier League predictions.
That's our Premier League predictions for 2023-24 season. If you've enjoyed this video, or if you're still sitting here from the beginning, thank you, because this is going to be over an hour long, this video. Which is mad because it's come out more of like a podcast, because we started over there and we moved over here. We did some little questions over there, which I actually really like that. So if you want to see more of that, guys, what you saw at the beginning, like a little podcast sort of show, even without the computer doing all this stuff, we sit on the sofa maybe once a week after all the fixtures have been played for that week, and we just talk. We come in with our notes, results, goal scorers, fouls, injuries, even late transfer news, which I really wanted to do this year, but I didn't have the time to. Everything just unfolded so fast. But yeah, if you've enjoyed it, guys, hit that like button, click the bell to keep your notifications on, and smash that subscribe button. Also, leave comments below of
Let
what
us
you would
know
see
if
us
you
know.
agree or disagree.
Yeah,
Where you put the
definitely.
teams.
Because everyone's going to have different predictions.
Definitely.
We could have Arsenal as champions. You could have Arsenal as Conference League. You never know. We never know. It's the beauty of the sport. But yeah, when you're watching this, the championship video should be up.
Yeah.
So check out the channel for the other videos. If you've enjoyed it, as I said, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. Let us know in the comments what you think, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.